insane just arrived in the mail. We're gonna need a knife, so let's go get it. We have it! All right, this is something we've all been waiting for a very, very long time, and for multiple reasons, guys. I am so excited to open that up, but wait, I'm like way too hot. Also, I brought something a little special. You'll see why and how we're gonna use it, but just give me a sec here. This is serious business, so let's get to it. Let's open this package that no one was expecting it. Like literally no one. I was the last one to expect it. I thought it would have been something completely different that would be released, but this is going to be my first time looking at it, and we're gonna be looking at it together. You ready? Let's see what is inside. Wow, okay, this is getting good. Oh my god, look at that. There's a giant alpha one showing up here. Ooh, and there's like some like surprise stuff. Look at that. There's a lot of little ones. I don't know if you can see them. Like here, they're just like a little bit everywhere. First of all, guys, subscribe, because there is a reason I had a wetsuit with me right now. And ooh, this is actually to send it back at one point. Yep, no one gifted that to me. Sorry, guys. If you were thought that I was sponsored and that I was receiving tons of gifts, no, I have to send them back. So shall we open this together? I want you to see it first. Tell me if it's good. 1, 2, 3. Woo! What's inside? Tell me. Oh my god. Yes. Surprise! So yeah, I was saying subscribe because we're gonna be testing this baby in very extreme conditions, and I want you to be part of that adventure. So look at that. My gosh, how long have we been waiting for that? If I honestly think about it right now, I think it's like kind of like the 2021 version of the 1DX Mark II, 3, whatever it is, but in Sony version and in much better. Okay, so we have a very heavy duty memory card reader. Can you hear that? Ooh, that's when it's new, it's opening up. I think it's for the new memory cards, the CF Express Type A. Here we go. So I'm pretty excited to try that out, because I've had the A7S III that I'm recording right now for quite a while now, and I've never been able to get my hands on the CF Express Type A. So I want to see what the capabilities are when you're using that. Ooh, the CF Express Type A card is actually absolutely tiny, guys. It is ridiculously small. So tiny. Those are the pins at the back. I'm so impressed. This is really small, a little fatter than a SD card, but tiny. Okay, we're gonna try with this. Cable, charger. They still include chargers. Still pretty good to hear, right? This camera strap that I will never use. Now, you know what's that? Okay. Let's look at this baby. I think we have a lot to talk about here. All right, let's go. Ready for it? First look ever at an A1. Wow. This feels actually great. All right, I'm gonna show you in details how it feels, etc. But before that, I want to announce something very important. So listen up. The next session of the 30-day program to Great Photos, my online training program. It's literally a workshop online for 30 days with me to improve to become a professional photographer, is going to restart very soon. I dropped a link in the description. I want you to be on the waiting list so that you get notified when the enrollment opens. The next session is going to be soon. Please don't miss it. It has worked for thousands. We have over 1,000, I think 400 or 500 students now, which is mind-blowing. It's amazing. We've had tons of amazing results. Some students have been shooting for brands like Infinity, ESPN, MotoGP races. One flew to Abu Dhabi recently to shoot that. I mean, the results are just amazing. So if you want to transform your photography over the next 30 days with me, make sure you get on the waiting list below. And with that being said, let's continue our little review of this A1. The grip is beautiful. Ooh, the buttons have changed. Okay, we've got a bunch of changes here with the modes, for example, that are the same on the right wheel, but we have a switch between AFS, AFC, DMF, MF right there on the camera body. We also have the speed at which you're gonna take the photos right there as a dial. So on the A1 you have that extra dial, but on the A7R III you don't have it. There is no dial. So they added something here, which is very interesting. You can see that's the a7 Note 3. Everything looks the same. No flip screen for those who love flip screen. So the back screen is the same as on the a7 Note 3. And then the buttons, the ergonomics, feel exactly the same as on the a7 S3. You really feel them. They're really tactile. When you press on them, you know you're pressing. You know, there's like no doubt about it. I'll put the lens on. I'm gonna put the 1635 on it. Here we go. So we can look at it. Boom. And that's what it looks like. It feels a little bigger than the a7 Note 3, but it doesn't look too much bigger, right? And that's something I really appreciate about Sony over the years is it didn't get much bigger. It actually gets bigger grip, better grip, but it doesn't get too much bigger. So we've got those buttons. We're gonna drop in a battery right now. All right, the battery up. Listen to that. And let's slide it in. Let's power it on. Ooh, battery exhausted. No! Okay. That wasn't expected. I'm going to swap for my a7 Note 3 battery. Let's try again. So I'm gonna set it up super quickly. Enter area date. All right, we are in. First of all, the back screen looks very similar to the a7 S3. So we have something very nice and crispy and beautiful to look at. Second of all, we have the same viewfinder as on the a7 S3, which I absolutely love. It feels like better than real life, to be honest, when you look at it. All right, guys, so I think the A1 is for anyone who wants to become a professional. If you buy the Sony A1, as expensive as it is, $6,500, you will be a professional just because of the camera. You're going to be the best photographer in the world because gear matters. No, obviously I'm joking. This is a joke. This camera is really focused for professionals who shoot sport photography, news, and needs the best of both worlds. I'm talking about the best of the A9 II and the best of the a7 S3 mixed in with some a7 Note 4. We have 50 megapixels in this camera. We can shoot up to 8K in video, and most importantly, what happened is that they took the autofocus and the burst of the A9 II and improved it, which means you can shoot up to 30 frames per second in RAW compressed and 20 frames per second in RAW uncompressed or lossless, and there's no blackout when you're shooting. So let's do a little test just for fun. Ready? Let's try this. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. It's not stopping. Keeps on going. Well, whether you like the sound or not, that's going to be because it's a electronic shutter right now. Oh, it's slowing down a little bit. It's slowing down. But I think I took probably, well, the memory card is going to be full. I probably took 1,000 or 500 photos. This is just insane. What I think is going to be really helpful is for any professionals that needed all those tools built into one. It's a little bit of a response to the Canon R5 or even the 1D Mark III hybrid Canon R5. And I think it's going to please a lot of people. Am I going to invest in it? I'm going to say yes right away because I have my a7 Note 3. I've been wanting to upgrade because of a few things, like the electronic viewfinder is much better on the a7 S3, the back screen, and now I'm going to actually have both things, meaning I'm going to have high shutter speed, I'm going to have high resolution, and I'm going to have the video capabilities of the a7 S3. So that's kind of why I want to upgrade, if I'm very honest. Can I justify that expense? Yes, I can, because I'm a business and I'm running a business here. Can everyone justify that? I don't think so. I don't think this camera is going to be for everyone. That's 100% for sure. You guys know it. What makes this camera special also for professionals is going to be we have Ethernet plug, we have flash sync. The flash has been improved. Now with the new shutter, you can shoot with flash sync up to 1/400 of a second in full frame, and in APS-C mode 1/500 of a second. And for those of you who use a flash, you know how big of an advance that is and how actually new and innovating that is. Now, ergonomic wise, as I was mentioning, this is my test. I take any camera, if I can hold it with one finger, it means it's well balanced and the grip is good for me. This is definitely a win. We're getting something that has better grip, just like on the a7 S3. I actually think the grip might be even a little bit deeper with the same batteries as on the rest of the cameras, which is helpful. We don't have to change them all the time. We can adapt the same lenses, all that. The menu system is going to be the same as on the A7S III. There is something that's new that I was showing you, is that little wheel to change the burst mode and also to change your autofocus mode, which I think is going to be very helpful if you wanted to be handy before you had to go through menus. Now, what else can we say? So 8K we set it, 30 frames per second, or 24, 4K, 120. Electronic viewfinder is the same as on the A7S III. 5-axis steady shot image stabilization, which is probably going to be similar to the one on the A7S III, although because it is a much higher megapixel sensor, it is probably improved. They must have changed something to make it better, but there will be a slight 10% crop when you will be using it, if I'm correct. We have the same memory cards here, SD cards and CF Type A. I'm really happy that they have the CF Express Type A also with the SD card, because the CF Express Type A are very expensive and it allows anyone actually to use the memory cards they had before. I really don't like when camera manufacturers put two types of memory cards, you know, one slot for SD and one slot for something else. Here you have two slots of each, which is, in my opinion, a big win. Now, there is something, a big downside, which I would have loved to see improved, is the ISO range. The native ISO range is up to 30,000, 32,000 on the A1, which is like the A9 II, and extended is up to 100,000. On the A7S III, it's up to 400,000. I would have loved to see a little bit of improvement on the ISO range, but because we have a much higher megapixel sensor now, I understand how technically it is very difficult. And you know what? 32,000 is already amazing. So we'll do a test between the A7S III and the A1. I have to get used to saying that, to see if at 12,800 you can see the difference between the two cameras or not, and how it maybe compares a little bit after. Honestly, I think most of you will be waiting for the A7 IV or an improved version of the A6000, for example. Why? Because it's going to be at a much lower price range than this one. This one really combines everything you can imagine about the Sony. I was not aware that it was coming out until I saw the video. So I'm very excited to have been able to have it so quickly in my hands. Thank you so much, Sony. Now, we're gonna go out, we're gonna go shoot. I wanna test it in real conditions. You know me, specs, etc. is cool, but I can link it below. You guys can look at it. You can pre-order. I put a link also in the description. Big question, who is going to get the A1? I want to know in the comments right now. Have you pre-ordered? The link is in the description. Second, am I going to get it? Yes, I'm going to invest in it. Why? Because it combines everything that we see is great in the Sony cameras into one camera body. High megapixel, high shooting frame rate, high resolution for video, 4K 10-bit 422, 120 frames per second, and most importantly, the improved color science, the color profiles, and what I'm going to say also is the improved viewfinder and screen at the back. And that is something I want to change from my A7 III. I will probably sell the rest of my gear, my A7 III, A7 III, and invest in this one. This is my personal choice. I think it's going to be a great all-rounder camera. Actually, it's going to be the beast to do everything, in my opinion. And I'm pumped to carry it all around the world. Now, I'm going to test this camera right now. I have this ready to go test it. I don't know if this is Sony approved, but make sure you subscribe to see what happens with this camera when we get out there and shoot.